Hello everybody. Let me see who's out there. Hi Renea, hi Judy, hi Janine, hi Elaine, hi SD, Cindy, Jeannie, Jessica, Sonia, and Ellen. So, hi Beth. So, why I said I'm taking a short break, and give me just a second, I forgot to turn the AC down a bit. Because I said before, it can get pretty hot in here because of the computer. I'm working on a lot of stuff, so I decided to get a little bit off track from the flower series, just because I don't want to start moving stuff around and then putting it back and losing my... So doing this, it's a little bit easier, because I don't need a lot of stuff, right? So I've shown you before that I've been experimenting with how to get labradorite slash spectrolite effects with UV resin. Now, don't think that it's going to be exactly like labradorite, because to be very honest, unless you have this big lab and you can experiment a lot with all kinds of crystallized stuff, you cannot really make a perfectly perfect gemstone imitation. But what I want to say, why I said spectrolite slash labradorite. Labradorite is actually a kind of spectrolite. The main difference is in the colors that you can see, and for some reason I don't know why I didn't bring my actual gemstones here, but I can go and grab them. Labradorite has a blue flash, while the spectrolite has all kinds of colors. But when it is just plain labradorite, it only has blue. Now, how can we do stuff that is similar? And if you've watched my channel for a long time, you know that I did a faux labradorite in polymer clay, and I'm working on making more other versions. But this is a very easy way to create a labradorite slash spectrolite effect using UV resin and the color shift acrylic paints. But you have to be very careful how you do them, because you have to apply the resin and the colors in a specific way. You cannot just do it no matter what. The other thing is that it looks better if you use faceted molds, not the ones that are just plain oval. It will not look as good as the faceted ones. And I learned quite a bit of stuff when I was experimenting, as in how to apply the layers for the best effect, what colors to apply and what colors not to apply, right? Because that's very important. Of everything that I've tried, let me show you. The yellow, as you can see here, the yellow doesn't look too good. Even if you can get quite a bit of yellow in a spectrolite, it will not look the way that it's supposed to look. Hi Krista, hi Robin, hi Isabel, hi Space Oddity. So what you need to do, what you need to choose, is there red? There's a specific more orangish red. I found that oh god, hold on, I need to put my readers on. Remember when I had the cataracts, I traded seeing far for seeing close. So this is the red flash that works pretty good. In terms of the bluish greenish, kind of any of these work. So we have the aqua flash, the dragon flash, the blue flash that has quite a bit of purple in it, the emerald flash, and then the purple flash, oops, and the plum flash. These all work good. Hi Karen. You're most welcome, Cindy. I hope it works for you. As I said, it works for me. Hi, Gemini's Cusp. It works for me. I'm having more, in the last 3 days, I've been having more active time. Even if I still have from time to time a little bit of, sleepiness, drowsiness, but it's not as bad as it used to be. So just remember, if you take the armor, you'll have to get the Thyrovans about 1/4 to 1/3 more. Hi Colleen, hi Diane. Okay, so I'm going to use the regular, that this is the one that I use the most, the Kiao Kiao. I don't know how to. If I go by what I hear in Chinese movies, that would be a Jiao Jiao, right? And for who didn't know, I am a fan of Chinese and Korean drama series, be they historical or fantasy. I have actually, some of my favorites are The Empress Key, and then there's one called Rui's Royal Love in the Palace, and now I'm practically watching Ice Fantasy, that for whoever is into MMO games will absolutely love it. But you have to not mind them speaking Chinese or Korean because they are subtitled. But by what I noticed how they pronounce the names that have a QI, that's a Z, right? So it would be Jiao Jiao, I think. Hi Jessica, hi Donna. Okay, now, what are the most important things to take into consideration? Yes, you're fine. Finnegan's protesting. To take into consideration when you do this. Think about it. Let me grab a labradorite. Hold on a second. I'm not sure what I did with my big ones, but let me see. There should be quite a bit. Finnegan is in his zooming mode. So we can see the difference between the labradorite and the spectrolite as well. I have two beautiful chunks of spectrolite, but I have no idea what I did with it. It's somewhere around the house. Okay, so let's see. This is labradorite. Pretty much. See, there's only the blue that you can see. You don't see any other color. And this is why I remember when I did the the rainbow moonstone, I said that it is a form of labradorite because it's got only this blue thing. This, let me try and get this is also a labradorite. As you can see, it only has the blue. And yes, it's one of my favorite stones, so I definitely have quite a bit of jewelry with it. Let me find the flash. I mean, I can see the flash on my side, but I try to get it on the camera for you as well. This one is a spectrolite. See the different colors? You can see, let me actually refocus the camera so you can see better. You can see how many colors are in this one. You see orange, you see yellow, you see blue, you see a purplish. Very different from, let me get it even closer. Very different from the plain labradorite. Too much. So compare it with the plain. Actually, this one is spectrolite too. Sorry, I have several that are the same. So see how you see an orange yellowish flash. This one I know that is just labradorite because you don't see any other colors in it. It's just a very dark blue. And this, by what I knew, this one is also a spectrolite with quite a bit of yellow. It doesn't have the whole spectrum. This is why it's called spectrolite, because normally it has the whole spectrum of colors. But what I wanted to show you, if you notice, there are several planes of crystals. It's like you have, the crystals are layered, and only when the light hits it. This is why it's very hard to reproduce a labradorite or a spectrolite, because the color is not a pigmented thing. It is a color that is obtained only by the light reflecting from something. So you can see actually here, that's why I wanted to focus closer, because you can see here how many layers of crystals there are. And this is why, because of the different angle the crystals are at, this is why you get all these colors showing up or not. Let me try and find the angle again. And this is why you have all that. It looks like almost hairline, like hairs in there, but it is just because of the angle the crystals are at. So you need to reproduce that in order to create a good labradorite or spectrolite effect. So what to do, I brought these. You can find these in the resin area of my Amazon influencer store, and some of them in molds as well. And these ones I got because I want to show you another effect that you can get with UV resin. But I'm going to use these because they are a little bit bigger, so it's much easier for you to see what I'm doing. So obviously, looking at those stones, you can get the idea that you need to apply several layers of UV resin, and that those layers have to be at a certain angle. That is very, very important. And again, I'm going to a second here. Remember, I showed you when I showed you, I think that when I showed you the soft UV resin, I showed you these. the gel pads. And these are very useful to hold your molds at, hold on, I didn't place it properly here. They're very hard to unglue, but the good part is that, actually I'm gonna just use this. It's much easier because you can place your mold at an angle. See, it is at an angle. So once you place it, of course you can peel the other side of the glue pad, and then you can stick it on the little mirror tile. Hi Natalia. I mean, real stones, Isabel, or polymer clay stones? So I'm going to stick these on the side, and you can stick them on whatever side you want. I'm going to stick one on one side and one on the bottom. Finnegan! He's playing with something, I have no idea what. He found a piece of coral. Where he found a piece of coral, I don't know. Hey. At least he's not pestering the other two. Robin, I get mine from, you can find it both on Amazon and on PolyClay Play. Trish has it. Okay, then the other thing that is very important when you apply the paint, use a, if possible, one of those little sponge thingies. Finnegan, get out of there. God, I cannot lock him outside, because if I try to lock him outside, then he scratches at the door. Anyway, let's first put some UV resin in here to start it. Hi Cora. And with this one I don't even need the and I'm going to place this directly on the tray of the UV lamp. Yeah, Trish has the full set, I think. Okay, so I'm going to apply a little bit here. And allow it to go to the edge there. And then I'm going to apply some here. Very careful, don't put too much here, because you don't want to start overflowing. So I'm waiting to see how far it goes. If I can place a little bit more or not. And I'm going to pull it to the sides as well to increase the area that I can put the paint on. You can actually even start with a little bit of that deep shine from Tiny Pandora. So as you can see, all I'm doing is to pull this, and I'm going to pull on this one too. And these molds, again, you can find them in the resin area of my Amazon influencer store. These molds are actually to make full size. They have a top as well. Okay, and let's put this in the... I'm always worried when I see him under here is that I might run him over with the wheels on my chair. All right, then my next thing is I need to bring it. Hold on, I think I should have some here too. I had some here. There are those little finger daubers, but now I have no idea what I did with them. I'm not gonna try to do anything about it. Just gonna cut a little bit of this sponge because this is what you need. Your next thing is to choose whatever color you want. I'm gonna choose, let's say, the aqua flash. The thing with the color shift is that it has to be very, very well stirred. Otherwise you will not have the proper amount of color. It's going to be uneven, and the way you're supposed to apply it is a kind of like dry patting. Hi Sarah. But yeah, everything that I'm using here you can find. Most of the molds are on the Amazon influencer store, but the colors are also on PolyClay. And Trish also has some of these, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Now I'm going to grab the molds. Sorry. I have no idea how I started. My nose started running. Okay. So, the aqua flash, I just dipped it in pure color, and then I'm going to pat this layer of hardened resin. And as you can see, I'm not applying a lot of color, I'm just applying a little bit. And you need to pat, don't allow it to show any kind of like brush stroke type thing, just pat. And it's going to dry fairly fast. Don't worry if you put any on the mold, because you're going to be able to clean the mold and respectively the resin with alcohol. Finnegan, what the heck are you doing? If you hear any noises, that is Finnegan messing up with something he shouldn't be messing up with. But I cannot really interrupt the live to discipline him. So again, as you can see, I did not apply a lot of color, just keep patting on. And I'm going to go back, and here the same. Then of course I need to clean my Okay, he's playing with his cat cave. He's pulling on there's a little tassel, and he's pulling on it, and it's bouncing back on his cat cave. Okay, the next thing, because we already have a little bit of, as you can see, a little bit of color that appears and disappears, pretty much. The next thing to do, and I'm going to use a needle and a toothpick. I don't know, Isabel, I didn't try with the Lumiere's hollow paint because they don't have the chameleon effect, so I didn't even bother with them. Hi, Sarah. Okay, then I'm going to grab my, let me zoom this so you can see better what I'm doing. And I'm going to start scraping. It doesn't look like much to start with, but as you can see, I am scraping because it's on the top of my needle. Just do a lot of scraping. It doesn't matter if your lines aren't perfect. They are not supposed to be perfectly parallel or anything. And you can even draw a few lines in another direction. Okay, hi Pamela. Then, see the scrapings I did? Actually, let me do a little bit more scrapings here, because they are not, they need to be in some areas, they need to be a little bit more. There we go. So as you can see, remember I showed you the lines in the spectrolite and labradorite, and they do look kind of like this. Now, of course, next we are going to change the angle. Let me put this one here as much as it wants to sit. And then this one like this. Yeah, I can do one flat here, or maybe not. Let's put it on this side. So I have them, as you can see, they are on the other side pretty much. And I'm going to use, let's see, a stronger blue. So let's use the blue flash. And again, I am first doing this, and I'm gonna leave it upside down. So let's place another little bit of resin. some. Now remember that this one is going to come upwards on this area that already has resin. And again, I'm showing you this with the larger molds, but you can use smaller molds, because I chose the larger ones because it's easier to see what I'm doing. Now let's do this side. And by the way, the soft resin should kind of be here anytime soon. You'll be able to find it on PolyClay Play. So we'll be able to do some soft resin stuff. Okay, now let's place this on the tray. I'm kind of sliding so I don't mess them up. And before anybody asks, because I already said that in other tutorials and live tutorials, but we always have new people. So what kind of lamp would be the best? You'll see that in the Amazon influencer store, and let me actually give the link here. If you go in the resin section, there should be okay, this is the Amazon influencer store. And if you go in the resin, that right now is the second, because anytime I add something, it's going to bring that section up to the top. You will see there are 3 lamps with the prices quite different. You have a $14 UV lamp, and there's a $40 UV lamp. If you can afford it, I would suggest that you buy the $40 UV lamp. They both work, but with the $14 one, you need to do 3 cycles of 3 minutes each. The higher the wattage of the lamp, the faster it would go. The one that I'm using now, I had a $14 one in the beginning, and then as time went by and I could afford to buy a more expensive one, I bought a $40 one, and I gave away the $14 one, because it's much easier if you have one that only requires 99 seconds compared to 10 minutes. And then you have to be there and keep clicking after every 3 minutes have gone by. Okay, so I did the blue flash, and the blue flash has a violet chameleon in it. So I'm going to do the same thing again, and this time we are in zoom so you can see better what I'm doing. Make sure your sponge is dry, because you want to get very thick paint on it. Just simply dip it. I usually work with the lids, so simply dip it in the lid and then start just dabbing. patting and dabbing. And here as well. And again, don't worry if you mess up the mold, because it can be cleaned easily, quite easily. If you feel that your sponge is a little bit too wet, just press it on the paper towel. And this should be good. So while I let it dry just a little bit, I'm going to clean my sponge, and you just dip it in water and squeeze. But then make sure that you clean it in the paper towel to remove all the water in it. Okay, so once again, I'm going to use the needle. And I'm going to lift so you can see what I'm doing here. Did I say hi, Marietta? I'm not sure. Then a few in different directions. Now, another interesting thing that you can do, actually, and it's going to work just fine, and I'll show you on just a small portion of the already done one. Let me just move this way so it will work better. You can actually place just a little bit of another color on an existing color, but you have to be very careful that it is very well dried before applying another color. So I'm not going to add a lot. I'm going to place just a tiny bit. If you're afraid that you might not do it properly, just use a little bit of either top coat UV gel or tiny Pandoras. And see, I only used a pinch, not more. And I'm going to clean the sponge before using more, using it again. And dab on it. It's going to do just a little bit of color effect, not a lot. But it's going to be a little bit of color effect, and you can go again. Oops, I just removed too much. So let's do another area, and this time I can place it, this one like this. And this one, I'm gonna actually place it on the back just properly, and I'm gonna manipulate the resin with the toothpick that I just lost. Never mind, there's more. Okay, let me see what other color. I'm gonna use the emerald green for this one. So first shaky, 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 and I'm gonna put it on, put it on upside down while I'm working on this. Again, see how it comes against the other already existing resined areas. And I'm going to place a little bit of this here, but I'm not gonna, on this one I'm not gonna go all the way. I'm just placing it on part of it. And I'm gonna bring it a little bit over one other area. And it goes in the UV lamp. As I said, you have to use several layers to get this effect properly. Can you use the, if you want to use the yellow, you can, but try to put it all the way on the back. Let me actually grab the yellow, and I'm gonna use it on one of them so you can see the different effects. And actually, I would suggest that you don't use the yellow because you have the yellow flash, but I suggest that you use either the orange flash or the green flash, which is different from the emerald flash, right? So I said I'm gonna use the emerald. I'm gonna use the emerald on one and the green flash on the other. I think it's done. Not sure. Make sure it is. Grab another paper towel. You're most welcome. You know, one of my things is to try to do gemstone imitation, so this was something that I really wanted to figure out how to do. All right. So this one is done too. Let's start first with the green flash. And again, remember what I said in the beginning. It's not going to look exactly like a perfect labradorite or spectrolite or whatever, but it's a really neat effect that I found to be quite awesome. Now remember, the thing is that you don't want to place too much. Like here I have a little bit too much, so I'm going to use the sponge again to lift some. Because I don't want it to be too flashy. And then on the other one I'm going to put the emerald green. The emerald green actually has more of a goldish in it than greenish, but it's still okay. It still looks awesome. And again, to avoid placing too much, I'm pressing this on the paper towel. and then lifting some up. Then I can do a little bit more here. All right. Then first thing that you want to do is to clean the sponge, because otherwise if the acrylic paint starts drying out, it's going to become very rigid. No, it has different areas, but I do have a faux black opal tutorial with UV resin. Hold on, let me try and find it. If you give me a second, I'll give you the link. And there you go. That's the black opal, for black opal with resin. Okay, then again, the same thing with the little lines. I lost my camera. As I said before, there's a delay between what I'm doing and what you're seeing, so I always have to have my camera window up on top of the YouTube live, so whenever I click on answering something in chat, I lose my camera window. Let's see, is there enough? Might use a few more. You want to use a toothpick, you can, but it will not make as good lines as this, as fines. And you saw that in the stone, actually the lines are super fine. Okay, let's see where we are. See the lines and the lines here. So I'm going to put them both straight and get one more layer before the final layer. So going to bring this over this other one a little bit. Okay, and let's put some on the middle one. Cover it on the sides a little bit. because we are trying to imitate all those different angles that the crystals are in the labradorite and the spectrolite. So this would be the one before last. And for my last, I'm going to use what? Of course, if you want to do just the labradorite, then use just the blue flash or the aqua flash, because that's going to be your best bet. So I'm gonna use the purple flash and the plum, or just the purple flash. So again, shake, 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 shake. As while that thing is hardening, I have the time to shake this to be really good. Okay, and then placing it upside down. I'm again pretty much done, and let's use the, thank you Ellen, let's use the purple flash. Of course you can use different colors, as you know, on each of them. You don't have to use the exact same order. This is just to show you the whole concept of how to obtain this thing, this effect. And I'm gonna put a little bit of yellow there, but let me first cover this up with purple. And then on this one, I'm gonna place purple here. Then I'm gonna place a little bit of yellow on that corner there. Again, lift off any, if you notice that there's too much color, lift it off. You don't want it to be too strong, because otherwise you don't get that effect when you move the stone. So this should be good. Hi Susan. Why did it keep that for review? I have no idea. And once again, clean the sponge before applying the yellow, but have the sponge clean, squeeze it in the paper towel, and then I'm gonna do the yellow first. What's Mystery G? That's fine. Have a great Sunday, Geminis. Okay. And again, the same thing. Don't get too much. I said I'm gonna put some yellow here. And some yellow here in the corner. And remember when I said that you can put some on top of the other? That's what I'm gonna do here a little bit. Not too much, because you don't want, if the sponge is too wet, it's going to lift the color below. So you don't want to lift it, so don't go overboard with it. And again, clean the sponge. And squeeze the water out. But this is the final thing. So again, the lines. Clean the needle from time to time, because if it accumulates too much stuff on it, it's going to make thicker lines, and you don't want that. Alright, so theoretically now you kind of have to wait a little bit for this to be perfectly dry, but I'm gonna just place the resin in here, should be fine. And completely fill. Now, depending on how big your mold is, it will change how much resin you need. Just make sure that because it's going to be a little bit confusing to the eye, because you got all those colors in there. But I bet you can already see the effect. A little bit more in both of them. This one kind of got out. I must have pulled on it. Remember though that whenever you place UV resin on top of UV resin, it will want to pull out. So yeah, this one pulled out a little bit, so that's the problem. So I'm going to, and remember, if it doesn't look very good on the other side, you can sand resin exactly like polymer clay. So if you have any kind of imperfection on the other side, you can sand it off. This one is much bigger than I initially thought. The mold, that is. It takes way more resin than I thought. But once again, use the smaller ones. You don't have to use these huge ones. If you look in the influencer store, there's quite a bit of molds in there, various shapes, and including the gel pads. Yeah, this one lifted from the bottom here. I might have to cover it up, but it's good because I can show you how to fix if you messed up, if it messes up like this. I'll show you how to fix this kind of stuff if it happens, because remember I showed you whenever you get your resin lifting off the backing of a pendant, I showed you how to fix that. And we'll see how I'll show you how to fix this if it happens when you're working on it. Okay, now let's get this in the lamp. Now you're gonna ask me, okay, but that is very transparent. What can we do so that doesn't look so transparent? Let me get this a little bit up. Zoom out. And there are several ways you can do it. You can simply paint with some black or dark gray acrylic on the back and then cover it up with some resin or nail gel. You can put directly some black nail polish or gel, and then you can cover it up or not. I'm going to actually go grab the black and show you. Thank you, Donna. Okay, we are pretty much done with this. Okay, Finnegan, I know, I love you too. All right, so now the moment of truth. Let's see how this looks like. And as I said, if you have any mess ups on the other side, that is fine. You can always sand it and buff it and whatever. So what did I do with that? I had the little thing here and I forgot what I did with it. Anyway, so this is the one that didn't have mishaps. The harder part will be to get this little thing out of the way. I don't know why it even has it, because it's so hard. It's much easier to just drill a hole, you know. And there we go. The labradorite spectrolite effect. Does it look realistic enough for you? But as I said, if it is without any kind of backing, now this one, as I said, messed up, and see how it lifted, the bottom lifted. So let's see how we can fix this if it happens to you. So in order to get this off, I first move it with my finger, and then I lift this and I start twisting it around. And it's going to come off. There we go. Actually, it's not too bad. Didn't mess up too bad. This one I can sand off. So it's fairly good. And you can see the different effects. Now, as I said, you can easily Let me grab a wax paper because I don't want to drop nail polish on here. Now careful, the nail polish I'm using right now is a regular nail polish. I do not advise you to use regular. I suggest you get black UV gel, but I have no idea what I did with it because I know I tried to do something with it, but this is just to show you how it looks like with black on the back. So again, if this happens, you can easily sand off. Remember when I posted last week sometime that tutorial with Faux amber? I told you that you can sand a resin and buff it. You can do the same thing with acrylic paint and then place some transparent nail polish on it to seal it off, or Tiny Pandora's Deep Shine, or you can just put varnish on it. Honestly, it's going to be just fine. But yeah, these ones you'll have to gently sand the edges for them to look professional and look good, you know. And of course I would be way more careful when I apply this than doing it during a live. And as I said, this is just to show you the difference between the... Yes, you can. That's why I said you can use the Deep Shine is resin, pretty much. And it is a good idea to put them back in the UV lamp with the front up and give them one more. Yes, Susan, that's why I said I'm doing this just to show you how it looks with black. Don't do it with regular nail polish. Just you do it with UV gel for nails, not with regular nail polish. But it will take much longer to have the black acrylic paint dry enough for me to be able to show you. So yeah, this will be destroyed, but I didn't mind because I already messed it up a little bit. So it's just to be able to show you how it looks with black on the back. So you see how it looks more defined, but still you get the labradorite slash spectrolite effect. Compared to the one with no backing at all. On this one I just put a thin layer. This is one of my experiments. I just put a thin layer of black polymer clay. You can do that and you can put it in the oven. That 00 resin is oven proof and will not mess up. But as you can see, this one doesn't look as good. I made quite a few experiments before I got to the proper effect. So the black back versus the natural black one, you can see that you do need a backing on it, so don't leave it as it is. But the effect is there. You can use it to make all kinds of other things, and it is a perfect labradorite spectrolite effect that changes the color. Now you see why I said that I don't think the Lumiere Halos would do this. But if you want to do, you don't need to spend a whole bunch of money on this. You can do just 2 colors, and if you don't have a lot of money and you want to do just 2 colors, what I recommend you get is the Aqua Flash, and then this is a must. The Aqua Flash is a must. The Aqua Flash gives you this. See this blue? That's exactly the labradorite blue. And then the second color that you can get will be either the blue flash or the emerald flash. These are, oh Donna, I'm sorry. And then for the back, as I said, it's up to you what you want to use. But you will get the proper, let me grab again the real things. Just wish I knew better where I put my big one, big chunk, because that's much easier to see. Of course, the natural ones aren't so flashy, and if you can just put it on certain areas, not over the whole thing, but see how you need to put something on the back compared to the nothing on the back, but you get the exact same effect that you get with this. And the color changes the way that you move it, but by my knowledge only the color shift has the chameleon type stuff. And the other thing that I wanted to say, that yeah, it is time consuming, but by doing it like this, see how you have the different color layers changing colors exactly like in the real stone, because you place the resin at different angles, so the color will change depending on how you change the stone, the same as in the real labradorite or spectrolite. Hold on, I found the, I lost the, and there we go. See, it's the same kind of changing effect. So this was it. I hope you enjoy. Once again, get on the, you can find all of this in the in my influencer store. Hold on, let me put it back on. This is the link, and you look in the resin. Let me go there and see. So the UV resin, because you'll see first is the casting resin, then is the UV resin. Then you'll find all kind of UV resin and casting resin pigments, and then you can find the gel pads as well, several kinds of them actually. Then there's some torches to remove the air bubbles, and then there's disposable syringes, all kinds of stuff, flashlight, UV flashlights. There's even little levels, so that when you do something, you know that your surface is perfectly level. But if you go on that link that I posted, let me tell you exactly which are these specific ones that I used. There is on right before the two, there's one that shows the bracelet cuff mold and the cuff mold. Right before it, it's this set that has these two molds, and it's $14, but you get all kinds of inclusions with it. But you can use any other sets. There are quite a bit of them. Also in the molds you can find these ones that I showed, and you can also use this effect on something like a dragonfly or wings. So if you go in the molds list, hold on, and get to the molds. you can find the smaller. If you scroll down, you can find the smaller, several actually faceted cabochon molds. But as I said, you can use it with other type of molds, not necessarily faceted cabochons. Okay, I really need to find the top thing for this. It's so sticky. Okay, I hope that you liked it and you'll experiment to do this. And remember that in the video description are links to all my affiliate things, and I appreciate you helping me by buying from my Amazon influencer store from my affiliate link to PolyClay Play, because that allows me to not have to spend a lot to get supplies, and that also doesn't cost you a thing. It's just I get several cents for each purchase you make, and without raising your prices. So thank you again, and I hope to see you next Sunday, and hopefully we'll continue the flowers, or if not, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you want to try one of these more special ones, see how the effects work. Okay, thank you so much once again. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful Sunday. Goodbye.